Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Virgo new moon, which is also a solar eclipse. The new moon is exact at 11:09 a.m. Pacific time on the 21st of September, 2025. The eclipse takes place within and around the new moon. The eclipse is going to be visible from New Zealand, the South Pacific, as well as Antarctica. And for those of us or you in Pacific, you can orient the whole eclipse begins at 10:29 a.m. Pacific. It peaks at 1:41 p.m. It's not a total solar eclipse, but the darkest phase is at 1:41 p.m. And then it goes until 2:53 p.m. on the 21st. And now solar eclipses always take place when there's a new moon, which means the sun and the moon are conjunct. And with this eclipse, this new moon, just so happens that the sun and the moon are at the 29th degree of Virgo, which is known as an anaretic degree. It's also worth noting that the previous new moon we had roughly 4 weeks ago was also in the sign of Virgo. But instead of at the 29th degree, it was at 0 degrees. That's also called an anaretic degree, but it's a very different energetic vibration. The 0 degree brings with it this sort of innocence and newness and sense of possibility. The 29th degree is known as a critical degree. It can bring about some shadow aspects, but it's really a culmination of the essence of the sign. So this eclipse, this new moon, is in Virgo. The energy of Virgo is mutable feminine earth, ruled by Mercury. Mercury is lighting up during this new moon eclipse, and so are a lot of the planets, especially Mars. I'll get to that in a moment. But Virgo is very much a practical, energetic, brings with it this attention to details. There's kind of a meticulousness about Virgo, which means paying attention to the details, not just glossing over something to get from here to there. Perfect energy for one of the themes that I'm sensing right now is being in the middle, but being attentive and meticulous about who we are and how we are while we're in these times of transformation. Virgo's energy is as much directed towards itself as it is towards others. So all those details, all those things that Virgo wants to help us with our health and our hygiene. I'm going to offer that this theme, and it comes through several times with several of the aspects. The idea here is energetic health, energetic hygiene. Attention to the moment-to-moment ways that we spend and give our energy. We're being reminded right now, as we're in this time of transformation, that we are the creators. And we're being invited to up-level our power as creators. So not only is this eclipse and this new moon at the 29th degree of Virgo, it's also at a space that's known as a world access point. And world access points, they are whenever anything is taking place at the 29th degree in 0 minutes of mutable signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. So we've got the 29th degree of Virgo here. That's what makes it a world access point. But the most usual time when there's a world access point is at 0 to 1 degrees of cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So what that means is that this eclipse is bringing things to a global energetic, a global presence, a global level of awareness is coming online right now. Not only do we have the eclipse, not only do we have it at the 29th degree, the anaretic degree of Virgo, and we have it as a world access point, but we also have a grand trine at this eclipse. We not only have a grand trine, we have a kite, and we have not 1, not 2, but 3 yods. 3 yods are 3 fingers of fate. I have never seen this in a chart before. Also, it just, if you live and breathe, you can kind of feel on the planet right now, we are in these very unusual transformational times with all the outer planets changing signs and doing this dance throughout 2025 and into 2026. It makes perfect sense that this eclipse is lighting up as much as it is. We also have Mars, and I'm going to start with Mars here because Mars, if you didn't get the chance to check out I did a weekly astrology forecast just a few days ago, and I'll put a link to that in the notes if you want to check it out. But Mars was doing something very powerful just a few days before this eclipse. We have the eclipse, and Mars is going to be making a powerful aspect just a few days after this eclipse. So it's no surprise that Mars is lighting up during this eclipse, and it's lighting up at the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, as just discussed, of the sign of Libra. So this would indicate that there's some kind of a challenge or some kind of a critical aspect about themes of justice, balance, harmony. Typically, Mars in Libra invites Mars's action to be balanced versus hot. But 29 degrees points to being able to see through what's not real and what's not true. Potentially what's not just, what's not balanced, what's not harmonious. Things may be coming to light around critical issues of justice and harmony and balance. Mars is conjunct Haumea at 1 degree of Scorpio. This is pointing to kind of a visceral feeling of the need for transformation, the need for rebirth. Mars is also squaring Pluto and Jupiter, which means that part of the theme around this eclipse, and let's pause for a moment to remember that eclipses are felt, well, this eclipse may have been felt about a month ago, and this theme is carried out for the next 6 months. Eclipses are powerful portals. As I like to remind us, they lift us up and out of the mundane, linear time and space 3D world, and this is the point where miracles and magic happen. This is the point where things that we never thought were possible, things come to light, things change in these sort of out of nowhere in the physical world ways. So Mars squaring Jupiter and Pluto is pointing to we might experience or witness some challenges here, challenges in expansion, because what's coming to light is that there's some things in the collective that may be ready for release. That's part of the theme of this particular South Node solar eclipse, which I'll get to in a little bit of time. But if we're going to be sort of seeing what doesn't work, seeing what keeps us from finding harmony and balance, Pluto is helping, inviting us to look for and discern and feel and know and see what's true for us. Now, Mars is a part of 2 of the 3 yods, actually. The first yod that Mars is a part of involves Uranus, as well as Neptune and Saturn. So Uranus and Neptune and Saturn are in an easy flow. They're in a sextile. They're sextiling each other. And that's going to help us to see beyond the illusion. And remember, actually to reclaim, not to remember, but to take steps to reclaim our power as creators. Mars is at the apex of this particular yod, which means there's going to be some friction between the usual ways and means of doing things and taking action. But this friction that we might feel is for the advancement of the whole. It's for the bigger picture. So the message of this first yod is that we're in the middle. We're in the midst of a massive transformation. It's reminding us of that. And Mars is also at the base of another yod. And let's remember, a yod is known as a finger of fate. It's a fairly pretty rare aspect, alignment of planets in astrology that point to the planet at the apex. Like I said, I've never seen a chart with 3 yods in it before. But this particular yod, Mars is sextiling Venus. So this is a very different energetic than the first one. Mars, again, at 29 degrees of Libra, and Venus is at 2 degrees of Virgo. And this is potentially going to invite Venus to help Mars to be motivated to take decisive action, but to take decisive action for justice and balance after considering the details. Venus is in Virgo, and this eclipse is in Virgo. But Venus is at the very beginning of Virgo, and the Sun and Moon are at the end. So this Virgo energy is about, as I'm mentioning, the theme here is energetic. I'm calling it energetic hygiene because it's the idea of supporting us and cleaning up our vibration, supporting us in realizing the things or the people or the behaviors or the subconscious stuff that's running automatically or just running beneath the surface that's really sort of holding us back from being the powerful creators that we inherently know that we are. So this yod with Venus and Mars is kind of saying, after considering all of the details, Mars can take action. So this is inviting a less impulsive, more acknowledgement, more acknowledgeable of the details type of action. And the apex of this yod is Saturn and Neptune. And the challenge here really is to look to, there's a certain type of wisdom. It might be ancient wisdom. It might be collective wisdom, ancestral wisdom. But to look within and to think about what we value and why. What's important in our bones? What feels true for humanity? What feels true for our sense of well-being in this world that we live in? And that type of discernment is going to help us to see clearly, to see through the illusion, and to be the I am embodiment of the changes that we seek, to put a stake in the ground and to claim it for ourselves, to claim it for why we're here. So this particular yod sort of invites and begs the question, how can we balance ourselves now? How can we keep ourselves balanced? How can we take care of ourselves energetically first? Because the energy that we are running is what creates the 3D world that we live in. And then the third yod, we have features Pluto and Aquarius sextiling Saturn and Neptune. At this point, Saturn is at the 29th degree, moved into retrograde. It's moved out of Aries. It dipped its toe into Aries, which is where it's headed. But right now it's back at the 29th degree of Pisces. And this is sort of inviting us to move through our limitations by looking and feeling back into the wisdom that we hold ourselves, our personal wisdom. But this is also, as I mentioned, again, about collective wisdom. It could be ancestral wisdom. It could be collective consciousness. It might even be energetic, and take this or leave this, but sort of star consciousness. If you're into Atlantean, Lemurian, Pleiadian type stuff, there might just be these downloads that are coming through from aspects of higher points of consciousness to help us remember why we're here. And while Saturn is at the 29th degree of Pisces, Neptune is still in Aries. Neptune is at 2 degrees in Aries right now. So this is a connection to the collective so that we can be more authentically the embodiment, the vibration of the future. We're being reminded we're creating this right now. We're creating the future today. We're creating tomorrow today. And now the apex of this third yod is Venus in Virgo, giving us the theme of paying closer attention to details for energetic well-being. Again, there's a theme here. This theme is bright and it's loud, and it really is inviting us to pay attention to it, to pay attention to taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. And to get off autopilot and to really to get present, to stay present. And there's that theme of really taking care of ourselves, being discerning about who and what and how we spend our time. All three yods are saying a variation of the very same thing. So we also have something that's known as a grand trine. And this grand trine involves the eclipse. It involves the sun and the moon trining Uranus and Gemini, and also trining Pluto and Aquarius. And despite this sense of tumultuousness in the 3D world, this is a very fortunate alignment. And so let's get to the solar eclipse here for a moment. Solar eclipses in general are known as initiatory events. They typically signify new beginnings or powerful shifts. And there's this sense of there's some kind of fresh energy coming forth. And so solar eclipses are new beginnings. They're times for making a fresh start. They can bring clarity and insight. And while lunar eclipses tend to reveal what's been hidden, solar eclipses bring insights and realizations about the path forward. So this is why this idea of energetic hygiene just kind of totally fits. Solar eclipses shed light on opportunities, ideas, things that we might not even have realized that we want to create in our life. And so there's this energy of manifestation. They bring potent energy for setting intentions, for manifesting new things in our lives. And the connection to the sun, the central life-giving force of our solar system, brings this sense of purpose, brings this sense of self, brings this sense of wanting and really seeking to feel empowered in who we are. So this solar eclipse is conjunct the south node. Every eclipse is either a north or a south node eclipse. And it's conjunct the south node, and as I mentioned, it's also trining Uranus and Pluto. So themes here could be letting go of attachments, cutting ties with things that are outdated habits, outdated beliefs, outdated patterns, as I was mentioning. This is the energy of this eclipse as well as the yods. It's inviting us to move away from old patterns, to create space for something new, because if we're seeking to manifest something new, oftentimes releasing something can help draw in the new. Energetic hygiene. So what's coming through now is maybe there's something that will come to mind for us that we can do or release that doesn't serve, so that there is this space. And this idea here is sort of a karmic releasing, but also rebirth. South node eclipses are about a reboot in our karmic journey. And speaking of ancestral wisdom, there's the opportunity, there's even a chance to let go of past life attachments, of ancestral attachments, of these patterns of behavior that are no longer serving. They might be weighing us down. And so this is going to clear the way for the new growth. But remember, it can only be cleared if we realize something, when we make that shift. And here with both Uranus and Neptune, Uranus reminds us that we are the change. We are the empowerment we seek. We are capable of seeing truth beneath the surface. We are capable of sensing energy. So there might be this sense of an action-oriented release. There's some idea of taking deliberate action. And this is why Mars has been and is lighting up so much in this chart. Mars, as I mentioned, is at 29 degrees of Libra. So this is the sense of deliberate action. Deliberate action for harmonious balance, for justice, but really deliberate action to release the past for those types of goals. And There might even be this sense of something that you've already known for a while, been lingering in the background, that you've either wanted to do or wanted to not do. There might just be this sense of motivation. So that's the Grand Trine, but the Grand Trine is also involved in something called a kite. And so the kite looks like just what it says. It looks like a kite, and it involves a Grand Trine, but also we have a minor, the minor triangle, the infamous minor triangle that I've been talking about for a while, that involves the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn also. So this minor triangle is active through the end of 2025. And this, in general, is reminding us that there's a higher order to what's going on in our physical daily lives. There's a bigger picture. There's an ebb and a flow that we might not even have the bird's eye view to understand. But there's this sense that we can trust. We can trust ourselves, and we can trust everything that's been set up to bring us to this point. And this minor triangle is inviting us to call our focus towards what it's pointing to in this kite. And it's pointing to the eclipse. So all the outer planets, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, it's like they're talking to each other like elders. Whether they're star elders or ancestral elders or avatar elders, any person or being who can really guide us individually and collectively. And this is also a sense, this is why I was calling it a return to source, because there's this sense of, if you believe in God, if you believe in source, if you believe in spirit, if you believe in this power, this intelligence that exists always and sees us at all times, there's this kind of bigger wisdom that's coming to play here. And so all these outer planets are pointing to the sun and the moon and the south node, and they're helping us to get clarity. They're supporting us in receiving the downloads and connecting the dots and being at the right place at the right time. And getting the downloads about what is ready to be released, as well as what excites us, what's ready to be brought in. And so the idea here is also it's a return to source, because we're being asked to let go, but we're simultaneously invited to embody and remember and be the spirit and the powerful, beautiful soul that chose this lifetime to come into this body. We're being invited to remember our inseparable connection to source, our inseparable connection to spirit. Insert whatever what word you want: God, universe, the field, consciousness, goddess. Whatever that word is, we're being invited to remember how seen we are, how held we are, and that we are inextricably connected to that. And we're also being invited to remember that we are, not only as individuals connected to that, not only as we are individual human being, but that potentially all human beings are divine. All human beings are, even in a time on the planet that feels rather tumultuous, potentially all these actors are doing their precise role for what is unfolding right now. So the message here I would offer is it's inviting us to remember not only to be energetically aware of how we spend our time, what we do, what we think, what we say to ourselves, but to seek to be the embodiment of source and spirit, to seek to be the change, to seek to be the light and be the love. let's go ahead and get to a practice. Find somewhere where you can sit or lie, somewhere where you won't be disturbed for the next little bit of time. If you want to, you can light a candle, you can take a moment to set some intentions before you start this meditation. You can push pause, but you could also light a candle and get a notepad and prepare to maybe jot some notes down after this meditation. Or you can just simply begin with me now. Close your eyes. Connect to your breath. Breathe in through your nose. Take a nice deep breath. Fill your lungs all the way down to the diaphragm. Feel your ribcage expand out. Feel the physical experience of your body breathing, and as you exhale, release through your mouth, and let that exhale be just a little bit longer, a little bit slower. Breathing in through your nose, and just feel how good it feels to focus on your breath and to drink in a really juicy breath, a lovely breath, a vital breath of fresh energy, fresh air. Breathe out, release. Release any tension, release anything that's ready to go, release any distractions. And we're just going to keep gently, easily deepening the breath, breathing in through the nose, releasing through the mouth. Let the inhale be taking in fresh energy. Let the exhale be letting go of anything that's ready to release. And as you connect to your physical body, begin to also connect to those aspects of your physical body that you might not, quote unquote, see or know. And that could be down to the cellular level, the DNA level. It could also be down to the fact that most of our bodies, most of our world is actually empty space, if we think about how the atom is constructed. And that it's all so beautiful and so balanced and such a miracle. It's all also malleable. It's all also able for us to shift and to receive blessings and miracles. And now bring your awareness to not just your physical body, but your energetic field. You might picture your toroidal energy field, that sphere of light and energy that surrounds you all the time. And notice what's present, how you're feeling vibrationally. Without judgment, just observe. And next, connect to your physical heart. Maybe put your hand over your heart or put your hand onto your pulse and just connect to the beating of your heart in your chest. It's been documented that our heart has more neurons than our brain. It's been documented that even though we're trained to think that our physical brain runs the show, that it's actually our heart that sends a more powerful electric and a more powerful magnetic field out from our bodies in all directions than our brain. And you can stay connected to your physical heart, but I also want to invite you to connect to your heart center, that space just a few inches over from where your heart is, right on your spine. And imagine a beautiful emerald green orb or ball of light. And maybe it's emerald green, maybe it's golden, maybe it's pink. There's no wrong color here. connect to the light that is your heart right now. And start to imagine that your heart is sending out this field that has been scientifically documented in all directions. It's about 5 or 6 feet out from you in all directions. That is, in some sense, the light, the energetic field of your heart. And as you connect to your heart, notice what's there. First, notice if there's any heaviness, if there's anything there that's ready to be released. And as you breathe in through your nose, but also take fresh energy in to your heart. Take the light of this eclipse into your heart. You don't have to know what it means. See if you can trust it. Take it into your heart and let that light transmute and transform and uplift that heavy energy. And breathe out, release from your mouth, but also from your heart or your heart center. Release what's ready to be released. Inhaling through your nose, inhaling into your heart. Take in fresh air, but also the energy, the downloads, the light from this eclipse. And let that light inform you and transmute whatever's ready to go. And as you exhale, send air out from your mouth. Send what's ready to be released out from your heart. A few more breaths like this, just simply heart breathing. Connecting to what I believe is the most powerful aspect of our physical and energetic being. And imagine that the energy and the light from this eclipse is encapsulated. Whenever you find it is the right time to find it, but it's specifically all the details I talked about with the astrology, specifically formulated for you to receive the downloads that you need to receive. What's ready to be released, what doesn't serve, and what does your soul really feel motivated and excited by. So take in fresh energy and release the old energy. And maybe you can even feel your heart, the light from your heart expanding. Maybe that whatever color it is, that emerald green light is just fully lit up 5 to 6 feet from you in all directions. And now bring your awareness to your third eye, between your eyebrows, but right in the center of your brain, linked physically with the pineal gland. Imagine now that you're connecting to your third eye. Imagine and begin to experience the light from your third eye, often indigo blue, but those colors aren't always so standard. If there's something else that comes through, trust it. Trust that the information that's coming to you right now is precisely for you, for exactly how you're humming right now. And the third eye is receiving a sort of upgrade from all the outer planets, from Neptune and Pluto and Uranus. And it's almost kind of like as you're breathing in now, you're taking this light in, and it's just cleaning up shop so this indigo blue light can shine even more brilliantly than it ever has. And imagine that this ball of light that is at the center of your brain is expanding now. Inhale, take in the downloads from this eclipse. Exhale, any blockages, any beliefs that don't serve are being released. And just notice what you experience, what you feel, what you sense. Notice also the connection between your heart and your brain. Those sensory neurites in the heart are afferent. They're moving up. So the information the heart gets goes up into the brain and forms your third eye and forms your pineal gland. And the third eye is also receiving its own information and sending it down to your heart. So there's this sort of symbiotic flow, communication between your heart and your third eye. Let anything that's ready to go, go. Anything it doesn't serve, anything that's heavy, any energy that is less than the brightest, most expanded, most brilliant and beautiful version of you. Anything that it does not serve, imagine that with every breath, you're taking in those downloads. You are worthy. You are perfect in all of your humanity, in all of your spirit, in all of your source. And you're here for a reason. Breathe that in, and as you exhale, imagine that from these two energetic centers, the breath is leaving the body, but any stuck stuff. And as I mentioned earlier, this might be very personal, sort of energetic cleanse, energetic hygiene cleanup, but it might also be collective. It might be ancestral. It might be just something that's been absorbed, that you're carrying, that's just ready to be released. Let's take 3 more cleansing breaths, just like that. Take in the light. Take in the information. Take in the love that Source has for you, that Spirit has for you. Exhale, letting go of anything that is not that. 2 more times. And now, as nature abhors a vacuum, all that empty space that we just created, of all that stuff that we just released, imagine now more downloads, more light, love flowing in, flooding in, coming in from the light, the energy of this eclipse, coming in from all directions and filling you. Filling you and nourishing you and bringing you back to that knowing that you are love. You are Source. You are powerful. You are sacred. Receive that. Receive that at a level that's cellular, atomic. Receive that in a way that's just, you know it. You are love. You are light. You are Source. And just basking in that for a little bit more time. Feel what it feels like to be known and seen and nourished and supported and held. And let's seal this meditation with 3 breaths. Breathe in through your nose. Take a nice deep inhale and hold that breath at the top for about 3 or 4 counts. And imagine that you're sealing in this vibration into your body, into your cells, into your being. Breathe out. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in again, same thing. Nice deep breath, hold it at the top, and just imagine that you're sealing in this hum, this vibration. Exhale. One last time, breathe in, take it in. Seal it in. Receive it. Claim it. Feel it. Exhale. All right. Thank you all for joining me. All of the hundreds and hundreds of countries and thousands of folks that are a part of this web of light, are a part of this upliftment and transformation of our planet. I'm grateful for you. I'm in the midst of rolling out my new online store, herbal teas, loose leaf herbs, lots of fun, high vibrational stuff, and a couple classes. If you aren't already on my email list, I'm offering a discount coupon for the next couple days, and I will offer another coupon in a little bit of time. But join my email list is a general invitation here, and also check out my Substack, check out my weekly astrology report. As I mentioned, this is a really cool time to be if you're interested in this stuff, it's a nice time to be paying a little bit more attention or awareness to what some of these themes are, because for me personally, I find astrology to just be this confirmation that everything is always working out and everything's always unfolding. And when we look at what the planets are doing, it helps us to make sense of our own day-to-day experiences in our lives. All right. Bright blessings. So much love.